And to make a video because I think it's important to talk about the problems of society. And I will just focus on a few that I think are very pertinent to society as a whole and really the 30,000 foot view of this whole thing. Now, I'm coming at it from a Christian perspective since I'm a devout Christian, devout believer in God. And I will tell you that the main thing is this reoccurring sort of sin, if you will, that mankind tends to have, and that is idolatry. Idolatry. I believe that idolatry comes when man has plenty, when man has a lot of resources, money, because with that, he doesn't believe that he needs God. And idolatry is nothing more than just love of oneself. An idol is supposed to be God because they can do things for you. The idol can give you food, can give you nourishment. The idol ingratiates your sense of self. Your ego gives you everything you want and need. So really, it's just a mirror of who you want to be, who you expect to be, what you expect to have. Right? The idol's supposed to do that for you, and we see it all throughout society. When you listen to the music, for example, the music is about loving a woman or a man and having intense amount of love to the point where it becomes very excessive. When you read the literature that you see from the 1940s onward, it's about romantic love of a man having this love of a woman, but it's unrequited, and he loses his mind, and and you see a lot of that. That is idolatry. You are putting a human being in the status of God. And we didn't see it, but now I think it's very clear that that was going on. And we see the fruits of that. The fruits is that people have very, very bad relationships. You have men who are very angry at women because they had women on this pedestal and they realize that a woman is a woman. And instead of looking at their own misjudgment of the woman and their own sort of unrealistic fantasies, their own idolatry, they blame the woman and they're angry at the woman because they still want her to be that idol and they still hold her as an idol. And that's why you see a lot of these dating coaches on YouTube. They still have that idolatrous relationship with a woman. It's a sickness. It is a disease. But this is what happens when you have a great amount of wealth. The solution to this has to be that we have to fall hard and realize that the wealth that we had, the wealth that we thought would save us, will not save us. And then we turn back to God, and God will now restore us and make us better. And then we have to have the best leadership possible not to let that happen again. So the music has to reflect our worship of God, our worship of trying to follow his commandments, our worship of being a child of God. The music has to reflect that. Movies, the books, everything has to reflect that. And when culture and society can now be in line with God, then we won't have the problems that we have. But it's going to take a while to get there, and it's going to take special people for us to do that. But I think that's the main problem is idolatry. I think it's having too much wealth at a short amount of time where you're not able to figure out ways of how you can use that wealth properly. And you're not able to do that because you just don't have the maturity, you don't have the life experience, and you don't have the devotion to God ultimately to do that. And so here we are. So I think we ought to go back to God and follow his commandments, but it's going to take a lot of time to do it. And that's the main problem. Hope that was helpful.